What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action on Instagram, and I got my neighbor here, Jamel. Jamel gives. Hey, yo, thanks for coming through.
No problem, bro.
Yeah. For years, I heard his name through the grapevine, through different closing attorneys, through other small investors in the area. I kept hearing his name, and then finally, I guess about 2 years ago, we actually got the chance to meet, and it's been inspiring to actually meet him and know him. And today, I wanted him to give you guys a little lesson because he's been doing this a lot longer than I have. Now I've been doing it for about 6 years, but he's been doing it for over 20. So we wanted to help you, right, learn the mistakes that you should be avoiding in order to keep your business consistent, okay, in order to keep your team sharp, and in order to throw off those assignment checks, flip checks, your rental checks as consistently as possible, okay? So that way you'll be making these foolish mistakes, okay? Introduce yourself, brother.
I'm Jamel Gibbs. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yes,
and
sir.
I've been in the real estate industry for 20 years. I've been educating investors for 15 years. Still active and still doing my thing. So I'm just looking to help out today.
Amen. Yeah, I still check out your channel. Awesome. Like often. The house that you I think you flipped it on Wendover. Was it Wendover? No, Cone.
Cone, yeah, I still own that house. I'm actually holding on to it for a year, which is next month, and then the tenant that's in there wants to buy it. So the reason I did that is to prevent paying short-term capital gains.
No, for sure. That's what's up. That's what's up. I love it. And that actually brings me to a good point. That's actually one of the mistakes I see, new investors make. They don't have multiple exit strategies because it sounds like you had a couple different options on that one.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna initially I was gonna fix and flip it, and I just decided, hey, why not just burn it? And then I ended up burn it, and now the tenant wants to buy it. So I'm like, I can get more than a little bit more than market value at this point on it. I'm like, okay, I made money on it for a year. I'm just gonna go ahead and cash out. I was gonna keep it long term, but I'm just gonna take that cash and go get something larger.
That's for sure. For sure. I like it. So when you say burr, help everybody understand exactly what you did there.
So basically, a burr is buying a house, rehabbing a house. So you buy a house, fix it up, and then once you fix it up, you put a tenant in there, and then once you put a tenant in there, you refinance all of the money that you have into it out. So essentially, you're into the deal with no money, and then you just do it all over again. So I pulled out the money that I had into the deal. I did refinance back in March.
Nice.
But again, it didn't cost me that much to refinance, and I'm like, okay, I can sell this and make a $50,000 profit on it right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the money and ultimately not have to pay short-term capital gains. I'll still pay the long-term capital gains on it, but I'm just gonna take that 50 grand and put it into multiple units.
That's what's up. I love it. Now, when you first started in the business, was that like one of your strategies or
Yeah. So when I first started in the business, I started off as a rehabber.
Yeah.
And then I progressed into a burr investor. They call it burr now. We didn't call it that back then. Yeah. But we were basically buying a house, fixing it up, and then renting the joint out.
That's
you know what I mean? And then getting all our money back. So burr is not a new thing. It's been around forever. Just case in point, I was doing it 20 years ago. It's becoming more and more popular now as real estate investing and social media
for sure
is expanding.
Right, that's for sure. Now you don't look like you actually did any work in the property. Did you because this is another mistake that I see. Now, what all were you responsible for with getting the deal under contract, and actually carrying out the process?
You mean as far as like me,
like the fulfillment of the deal? Like, what all did you actually do?
All I did was I signed the contract, I funded it, and I didn't use any of my own money to do that.
Okay, nice. Nice. Did you do any work on it?
I don't do. Man, all I did was point fingers.
Nice.
That's it. So
nice. And that's one of the common mistakes that I see.
Yeah.
Is, especially we saw with Anthony in the mastermind.
Yeah.
Congratulations for him actually taking his property down.
Absolutely.
But and actually making his largest check that he ever done. But still, he could only focus on that one deal. Over 6 months.
Right.
So congratulations to his $40,000 deal. But we could have continued making, income from other sources.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want to do. You want to diversify as an investor. So like when I first started, I was rehabbing, and that was my primary source of income. Problem with rehabbing is you have to be cash heavy.
For sure.
Right, and I wasn't cash heavy. So what I would do is I would borrow more money than I needed, and then I would use that to float me until I get the next deal. Until I figured out that I should be focusing on more than one deal
Amen.
at a time.
Amen.
So when I started focusing on more than one deal at a time, I started selling my contracts. I didn't even, back then we didn't call it wholesaling. It was just flipping. I'm going to flip my contract over to you, right? And then somebody came up with wholesaling probably around 2004, 2005. So a lot of these terms that you hear today, they didn't exist back then. It just kind of naturally happened in the business. But I started flipping my contracts over, not even knowing what I was doing. I was like, hey, I'll sell you this lead. That's basically how we phrased it back then. And I would make a $5,000 or $10,000 spread. So I started doing that in between the rehabs I was doing. Then I said, okay, I need to figure out a way, because I'm working too hard. How can I start picking up some rentals
Amen.
to be able to make this happen? My credit wasn't ever the greatest, but I realized that you don't need the best credit. I never really had an 800 credit score at that point. You know what I mean? You don't really need an 800 credit score to buy real estate, though. All you need is a good enough credit score to be able to get funding from a bank, show that you're trustworthy, to be able to get funding for your deals. So I put myself in a position to be able to do that. And then once I did that, I started figuring out lease options, and I started figuring out creative finance as time went on as well.
Nice. That's what's up. See, that actually brings us into another one, because most guys think that, hey, in order for me to buy a house, I need pretty credit and I need a bunch of reserves in my account. But you just told me we can do it with no money, and we just need good enough credit. Because I don't know about you, what I've experienced since I'm an investor, right? I'm actually
always running
my good credit.
Yeah.
So I'm always using it. So I'm never at the highest peak because I'm always putting that thing to work.
Same here, man. I don't have perfect credit right now because of the utilization. When you use your credit, obviously your scores are going to drop. So I'm never consistently in high credit numbers, or even right now, because like you said, I use my credit to make more money.
Yeah,
now, if you use your credit to buy a pair of Jordans or a new car that's not going to pay you, then that's a mistake. But if you're using it to leverage to buy more income producing assets, then that's how you gain wealth.
Exactly, because literally we have like refinances going on. I mean, almost every other month at this point. So I got 3 going on this month. So you got to use it. You got to put it to work.
That's right, man.
And now the last mistake that I wanted to bring up, and the last mistake that I typically see guys have, is they don't have like a beast mentality. They don't, they'll get one deal, they'll feel hoorah. Next thing you know, they don't sell it, they get depressed, they go into a slump. Or they get a deal, they make $5,000, and now they off for 3 weeks. Like that's something huge. Can you talk about that? How we stay motivated or push through? That beast mentality.
And I was guilty of that as well, man. What I realized is, and that kind of drove me from becoming a rehabber into multiple facets of real estate, because when I was rehabbing, I would get comfortable. But then by the time I sell a deal, and then by the time I get paid and I'm catching up on all of the money that I gotta catch up on, and now I gotta look for another deal. What I realize is comfort will kill you, man.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So you can't be comfortable. You gotta be out here hustling. And once I realized that I needed to be hustling constantly, that's when the passive income thing really came into play for me. I'm like, okay, I don't want to work myself to death.
Right.
I'm working 15 hours a day right now in my own business, but I'm going to need to be able to offset some of these expenses and generate some income some different ways. And that's where the rental portfolio came into play. And then once you build up enough rental income, you can start hiring people to replace yourself in your business. So now you have a consistent flow of assets that's providing you with monthly income. Then once you have that monthly income, now you can pay other people to do the work for you, and you can start creating that real freedom that you look for in real estate. You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about. Time, money, and knowledge.
That's
okay?
it.
And look, this has been another one. Okay, remember, you don't need all three of those. You just need two to do you. Peace, y'all. Have an amazing day.
Peace.